So I want to talk about some anti-Calvinist cringe I came across recently. And oh man, I'll be honest, I just think it's so disappointing. Candy, what are you doing back there? Now, I'm not calling this cringy because it's opposing Calvinism, but man, I just think it's I'm just going to be honest, a blatant dishonest perspective of what no Calvinist actually believes because it's not historically Calvinism. Now, while this clip isn't new, I like to show it to y'all to show you what I'm talking about.
God works all things after the counsel of his will, even keeping those kings who want to commit adultery from committing so. And when he wants to, he orders those to commit adultery when he wants to.
He orders those to commit adultery. It's like, really? Like, is that really the historical position of Calvinism, that God is just saying like, oh yeah, you do this sin, I'm going to make you do this sin? Now, I don't know who this guy is. I imagine he might call himself a Calvinist, right? But that's just clearly not the position of what that belief is. And I'll be honest, right now, I'm not even trying to defend Calvinism. I just think if we're going to have good discussions, we need to actually represent what views actually are. And the reality is this guy clearly is not a Calvinist. He might call himself that, but he is definitely not. And I promise you, Piper MacArthur, Paul Washer, none of them share this view, nor would John Calvin. And the reason I make this is because there's a number of certain people who oppose Calvinism, but use this clip as really, honestly, I believe, a straw man to attack Calvinism when that's not even the view. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for explaining why this view is wildly unbiblical. And honestly, I think a very sad and tragic perspective on God. You know, remember one time I was at Jimmy Swaggart Bible College. Don't ask how I ended up there, okay? I didn't go there, just to be clear. I just happened to be there. And I'm talking to this guy who identified himself as the token Calvinist of the campus. And, you know, surely in the conversation, he believes a believer can lose salvation. Now, he might have thought he was a Calvinist, but I mean, he definitely wasn't. And I think I maybe could already hear certain people thinking, well, yeah, but if you carry it to this logical conclusion. Okay, but that's not what the view is. Now, if you claim that Calvinism leads to that view, that's one thing. But I don't believe straw manning is the answer. Now, that being said, I'm also getting sick of saying the word Calvinism. Like, why do we call so many theologies by the last names of men? How did we get here? And I'm not saying it's wrong, too. I don't believe it's wrong, but, you know. I do like sticking to Bible verses. But hey, I tell you what, it's better to know what the Bible teaches and to believe it than to know what to call it. Now, no matter what side of the pew you're on, let's be diligent to dig into the scriptures.